This week on the Push for Loads podcast, we review everything that happened over the weekend. Three, two, one. What a weekend, Dan.
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Pull Legs podcast with myself, Dan Meek.
And me, Tom Hall. What's going on, bud?
Absolutely fucking knackered, mate, after that weekend.
Absolutely done. We are recording this on the Monday, not usual. Because Dan's got a day off tomorrow. But, yeah, mate, I think we're both absolutely smoked.
Yeah, me more so than you, because I've done more than you.
Well, no, Dan actually worked 3 days in a row, which I helped. I feel like it's my duty on all of his posts now, just to bring him back down to earth, because there's too much positivity in the world, according to some of Dan's posts, and then I'll just give a little jab what reality is really like. So
what you can expect from your friends when you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Standard, absolutely standard, mate.
You know who your best friends are when you.
I'm not getting it from my mates. I'm getting it from random dickheads on the internet as well. So
we'll talk about that later, mate. So you're not getting the 200 club, mate. So
no.
200 kilo. Yes, that's all together though. So you're almost there. Almost all the 10 lifts they probably do. So
yeah. But anyway, Tom, how was your talk? That's the real question.
So I guess if anybody, that was really well introduced for what we're going to talk about, mate. So I think we're going to talk about body power, and both me and Dan were there together on the Friday.
We've got pictures to prove it as well, mate.
Harry did. Harry took pictures, right?
He sent me the pictures. I'll send them over to you, mate.
Did
you can post them on. You can post them on Instagram, and you can be all positive about me and how amazing I am. And then I'll just be like, "You're a dickhead," and then it'll be like roles reversed.
It'll be great. So Dan's such a baller. So Dan and Mike are such ballers that they brought their own photographer to Body Power. That's
That's how we do. You should see the looks we were getting as well when Howie was doing the odd picture. People were like, "Who the fuck are they?" And we're like, "Oh yeah, you know it." Like, by the way, anyone can hire someone to have a camera and follow them around. It's not hard. You don't have to have loads of followers in it. It just costs you a bit of money.
So I believe what we had is natural photos together. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I suppose candid, isn't it? They're called candid. But no, I just want to before we say we paid Harry to be there, whatever. Harry was there networking,
he's a
seeing
student,
other people in the industry. He just happened to be there and was like, "Should I come along as well?" And we're like, "Yeah, that'd be good." I don't want people thinking that we thought that's the sole reason he was there. Obviously. But yeah, no, because he was also filming the Revive Stronger seminar.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah, he had that gig as well, so that's why, because we were going around. So it's all good.
He's good at what he does. It's good.
He is very good at what he does. Yeah, and he's starting to get into taking. Does videography. He's great. He started doing more photos and stuff. So he's using us as guinea pigs to get better at taking pictures and stuff like that. So
yeah.
And he was like, push pull legs photo. I was like, not really.
If he can take a picture and make either of us look decent, then the guy's onto a winner.
Well, I mean, he hasn't. I'm not gonna lie. He's done the best he can, but I don't expect him to do more than what he's done. To be honest, I'm
assuming that. What time was that? About mid-afternoon. We've both been up since about 5 a.m. So good.
Yeah, exactly.
It was long days. So we got Body Power, we got Revive Stronger, and Online Fitness Biz. Various people. That we know in the industry. Obviously, I was 2 days at Body Power. Dan was 1 day, and then he went he went to the 3 cities, I believe. We can take away what we can from those. So I think we'll start with the biggest event was clearly Body Power. I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, for you it was.
How many people go? I reckon is it 60,000, 70,000 people over the 3 days?
Potentially, yeah. I would. Yeah, I'd say something around there.
And that's roughly how many people came to watch me talk?
Yeah.
Definitely not. No, we were talking on the Friday. What happened on the Friday with us? We didn't do much, did we? We were kind of roaming around. It was a little bit because it's more industry based, I guess. More people who should have jobs are there. But yeah, it was a bit quieter, and then the Saturday was hella busy. Yeah, and it was you said it was a bit more toned down, if anything.
Yeah, than previous years. There just didn't seem to be as many sort of big brands there. Whether that was by design or not, maybe that they were trying to promote some of the smaller brands potentially, or whether the bigger brands, don't go anymore. Like I said, I don't know. Just compared to previous years, it was a bit more focused on maybe like the athlete side of the stuff. Like they had the fitness games, they had strongman competitions, they had powerlifting competitions, they had bodybuilding competitions.
Before we go any further, and I said it to Dan before the show, what is the National Fitness Games? Professional PE. It's mental. Don't understand what's happening with there.
I didn't even see it. Is it kind of like a toned down version of CrossFit?
So you've got powerlifting, legit, like beasts. Strongman, beasts. CrossFitters, kind of.
It's kind of like PE.
They tried to do stuff. It's like PE but with barbells, and
no full reps completed.
Just guys standing. We really want to go there and go one. We stood next to the pull-up competition and just kept on shouting that. And then you got the bodybuilders who I couldn't fucking stand. I said to Dan, and I was just like, I sat there for 5 minutes. Bloke walked out. It's like, nope. I can't watch this. I'm sorry. I was like, I'm sorry. We obviously have a lot of listeners who are very much into their bodybuilding or love physique contests. Really not my bag. I have no idea. I gave it a chance and I was like, no, I'm going to go watch Strongman again. It's just not me.
You just prefer big burly men.
Exactly. That is exactly what the takeaway is there. And so the National Fitness Games, I'm actually going to ridicule one of the person, because I know a person that competed in this, a guy called Tom Colville, one of my trainers. And mate, it's just professional PE. It is like, so you got an air bike and what you got, a stepper. There was a stepper and a verse climber of some sort, and probably a rower, and then a box. It's basically CrossFitters who don't want to take roids.
CrossFitters don't want to get geared up. Do a National Fitness Game.
Yeah, do the National Fitness Games.
That's the slogan I heard.
That is the slogan. I mean, I'm sure they would smoke me, all of them that competed at that. But I just found it quite funny.
Well, John Clark competed in it, so
I know, but
he loves a bit of PE. So
John Clark is Captain PE, so he's also immensely strong. So what else did we have? So on the Saturday, that was the best education stage that was there, the third space stage. Clearly. Yeah.
Set up legal reasons.
Contractually obliged to say that, guys. And I was speaking on a little panel with Kathy Brown, the old boxer, world number 3.
Can you say that?
What's that?
Can we say that? Boxer?
Old boxer, yeah, and she would like it. No, former pro athlete, and then Darren, another former pro athlete, and then Michael Goldrin, who I think we'll invite on the show because he's owner of Integra Education and Integra Performance, I believe. He is, the best way I could describe this is he is a car mechanic who's decided to look at the human body like he would a car and then do stuff with that. That is the best way of describing what he does. Because it's like, I watched his seminar afterwards as well at like 3:00, and like, I think I know a lot about biomechanics. Like, the guy's on a different level. He's just like, this is this, yeah, moment arm here, like, yeah, lever here, oh god, let's draw on this. I'm like, what is going on? People's just like, woo, straight over their heads.
Can you imagine what I'd be like then?
So yeah, it was good. So our talk was, I think we mentioned it, about training your clients like athletes, and I term my clients as everyday athletes anyway. So I did, if Dan would like to know, I did answer one of the questions incredibly sarcastically and just said yes, and then passed the microphone on. Obviously just to get a couple of laughs, mate. That's all I did.
You love a couple of laughs,
I loved it. Just had to do it. I wasn't as I did disagree with a couple of things, mainly because if anybody knows Michael's work, I think I was talking down about this before, and maybe when we have him on the show, is probably we're two ends of the spectrum in terms of biomechanists. He understands what I'm trying to do. I don't have a fucking clue what he does. Like, it's way smarter than me, and I am very much about movement efficiency and creating, and I don't know, putting power and force through things as much as possible without any kind of, I don't know, expulsion anywhere else, so it doesn't drift out anywhere. So imagine if your foot's, I want all the force and the ground contact force to go straight down and not lose it. As soon as you're wobbling your knee, you're wobbling it out into various different pathways into the air and all that kind of stuff, so you're not generating as much power straight through, and it's not as efficient. Whereas probably Michael And I think both the Muscle Mentor boys that you guys are good friends with, they look at the moment arm and the angle, and it's like it's making a movement as kind of
hard as possible
instead of as efficient as possible to create the most tension. So it was an interesting thing. I'm assuming that's why Josh probably had us both on that panel, to talk about what
he's sneaky, isn't he, Josh?
Sneaky, yeah, and kind of knows what he's doing, because
he knows what he's doing.
We're just gonna not argue, but we're gonna see each other's point of view, and the fact is that
I think this is where we talk about all the time about how training bodybuilders and general pop and all that sort of stuff are very, very different based on certain people's goals. You would train them differently. Now, if you had a client come to you as a PT and they said, I want to train like a bodybuilder, I want to train 4 times a week, and I want to increase muscle mass as much as possible, I don't care if I move well or not, then that's fine. You would do that sort of stuff. But most people in this world who want to improve their muscle mass and want to be stronger and want to live maybe a longer life and be a bit healthier and run a bit better and move a bit better, they don't need to worry about that sort of thing. And it's the ability. A good coach has the ability to decipher that. And like you said, these guys would know that, and they know that for them, like say for example, the Muscle Mentors, their goal is just highly specific. Every single one of their clients has that specific goal. Every single one of your clients probably has the goal of wanting to move well and all that sort of stuff. And it's funny how I would say someone like my clients, some of them have like half and half. Like some of them I'm pushing more towards like moving well and being strong and worrying less about the bodybuilding stuff. But some of them are just like, no, I just want to train like a bodybuilder. How do you do that? And it's interesting how you would use that.
Well, actually, like, didn't one of your clients, Hannah, put it up on her poll on her Instagram? Obviously,
I think she did. Yeah, I didn't know what the results were.
And like, I think she showed me, and it was all like it was either train like an athlete or just no thanks, basically normal training for me. Or whatever. I'm assuming normal training is like 3 sets of 10 bollocks, and and it was like half and half.
Yeah,
I think
that's where you got to ask the question.
Obviously, in my brain, I'm like, what the hell? What?
Yeah.
And I used during the talk, I used the thing was like, well, why wouldn't your client want to train like an athlete? I was like, when somebody says athlete, Dan, what do you think of?
I think straight away I had to think 100-meter sprinter.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I said. I was like, Dino Asher-Smith or a Dwayne Chambers character. Then I was like, oh, maybe not Dwayne Chambers because he's got to use gear. But I was like, Dino Asher-Smith. Again, shooting for the laughs. Got a little bit of awkwardness as well, which is always great. And then I was just like, that's what this conversation's about, surely. I was like, that's the preconception of athlete. I was like, these guys. And I was like, aesthetically, do they look good? Yeah. Like,
yes, they did.
Yeah, they look pretty phenomenal all year round. I was like, why wouldn't you want to try and replicate I was like, even if I hit 30% of what their training is, if I look 30% as good as that, most general pop will probably take that. I would assume. So I was like, why not? It seems a no-brainer to me. I was like, I don't have to worry about all this stuff, like the moment arms of mechanics. I'm just going to be like, I'm going to get this from over here to quickly and as most powerful as possible. Boom, let's go. But that's, apparently what I'm too about. Moving.
I think it'd be, and this is the other thing that's apparent from the weekend. We'll talk more about it. I suppose the OFB stuff that we talked about is that if everyone was the same, had the same view,
it'd be boring, wouldn't it?
It'd be so fucking boring, wouldn't it?
It'd be so boring.
And like everyone would train exactly the same way, everyone had the same training plan. It's like, it's not like that. Life's not like that.
I think as well, the people at Bodypower, and obviously Dan gets beef with a lot of the stuff that he talks about. And I think we've come to an age where it's just kind of don't care. If you can't laugh at yourself and like have a disagreement,
exactly, yeah. It's like if you get offended because I've said something that for my demographic and it doesn't relate to a demographic, that's your problem, not mine. Yeah, you don't understand it, mate. That's not my problem. You don't understand the point I'm making. I will happily say that some people don't need to fucking time their meals to perfection, and they don't need to worry about fucking wearing nose strips or whatever. I'll happily say it because it's just ridiculous. Don't get so offended by it. It does make me laugh that people can't see other people's opinions or point of view or anything like that. And like, no one's insulting anyone. Like, you're not saying that they're an idiot. You're just saying like, that's a stupid way of doing things for my demographic.
Yeah.
Which is fine. You're not having to go at anyone. Whereas they take it as a personal attack. They think you've called them an idiot. And you're like, no, that's not what I've done.
I mean, I routinely do that to you anyway. So, and you know how to take that. So
exactly, mate. I'm used to it by now. But yeah, like the guy who had to get me. It's just like on his post. Ridiculous.
Oh, we can talk about that later, man. Ridiculous. So yeah, obviously talk was good, all that kind of stuff. It was nice to have that kind of people there. It was full, people standing at the back, which is fun. Obviously not to see me, probably see Michael, but hopefully it was well received from everybody that was there. And thank you for anybody that came up to see me and Dan on either the Friday or the Saturday. Was I thought it was quite funny. So yeah,
it's so weird, isn't it? You can never get used to that when people say, "Can I have a photo with you?" You're like, "Of course you can. Why do you want one?" But yeah, of course you can. Like,
yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for everybody that said hello. It was nice. Yeah, the people there, Dan, mixture. I'd say I've written this, isn't it? Mixture of people.
Yeah,
mixture of people. I think it was more mixtured. Yeah, there wasn't anybody. Well, there was obviously, like, if anybody doesn't know, there's a lot of like bodybuilders, a lot of steroids, obviously there, and then there's a lot of normal.
To buy, not to buy. Like...
Not to buy. No. Just, I believe some people may have used them, but you never know.
Possibly. Definitely.
But yeah, we also caught up with some cool people there. That is, I think. If there's a massive positive about bodypower, and people would ask me, it was like, one of my clients asked me today, actually. He doesn't really know of it, but then he was like, so if you weren't speaking there, would you go? And I was like, that's a really good question. I was like, probably the reason I would go is to try and meet people and network. I think that's more valuable than anything else.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing with it, is it's good for that. Like,
it's so good for that, because everybody kind of it sounds weird. Anybody's there, but anybody who kind of you might have a similar interest and similar goal, or maybe even a strike up like business or whatever. Like, that's the place that you could possibly do that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Yeah, I was like, maybe not. Don't know. But yeah, we obviously got to see some of our friends. Amelia talked on our stage, which was good. Immense amount of emojis being used in her talks. Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, I saw that you posted that. I didn't see the talk.
Yeah,
so.
It was. I just found them quite funny. I was giggling most of the way through it.
You're childish.
Yeah, because I'm childish. Just because I think there's a way Amelia talks as well when she's talking. I don't know if I could be completely wrong, but I think she picks out people in the crowd that she knows, and she'll generally look at them when she's talking. Because she did say to me she gets a little bit nervous in talking in front of a crowd. I don't know, what was it, like 50 to 100 people? And yeah, it was every single time she looked at me and I was just kind of giggling. Obviously it wasn't a comedy show, but I was just like, that's fine.
That's
just
your opinion, isn't
comforting, wasn't it? Yeah. I've written down...
What you're saying is, Tom, you were only laughing just to make her feel better.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Cool. I'm just a nice friend. That's all it is. Yeah. But then there was Michael Goldrum was awesome. Really go see all his Integra stuff. Obviously Mike McDonald was there, all that kind of stuff. On the fit stage was ridiculous. I didn't really understand anybody that was on there. All these people, like this was the one negative I have about what was going on, especially educationally. Obviously body power is massive, and it's all the stalls and everything. It's way more. That is way bigger than the education, but probably we stick around the education more because that's our bag. But there's a stage that was obviously just like, I don't know whether they're out to educate, but it was just misconstrued information and just ridiculous.
No.
It really annoyed me. Like we went to, because a part of our Friday was to kind of see some talks that we might think were bad, and there was one or two. But there was, what was it? There was maybe a pro bodybuilder kind of influencer got asked a question that they're like, oh right, so how do you start to put yourself in a calorie deficit? Like how do you start to lean out? And she was like, so yeah, I just like half my cup of rice instead of having a full cup. So all right. Great, just do that. And then she was like, oh, but I don't do my meal prep anyway, I have somebody else do that for me, so just do that. Brilliant. All right, wonderful.
I'll do that as well. Yeah, everyone do that. Everyone.
I was like,
everyone tell your chef. Funniest thing I heard was I didn't really go and watch any of the talks that were. I did catch a glimpse of one, and I swear to God it was 30 seconds. And at that point, I felt like leaving there and then, because all I heard was someone talk about. They said growth hormone is highest in the morning, after your workout and in the evening just before bed, apparently. And they are the key times to avoid eating sugar. That's why I don't eat sugar post-workout for 30 minutes to make sure that my GH response isn't lowered by eating sugar. And I thought, I'm going to go before I get annoyed, because it doesn't even matter what context you're talking about. It is ridiculous. Ridiculous. I didn't even need to hear any of the rest of it, mate. I know you were talking shit. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Just couldn't believe it. And that was like on like the Pure Gym stage, and people were sitting there watching and taking notes. I'm like, ridiculous.
The thing about the Pure Gym stage is that I think on the Saturday we weren't allowed in there. It's only Pure Gym employees, which I thought was a bit odd. Third space, the one like anybody can come in, absolutely fine. Which is like, more merrier. Strange. But yeah, I thought it was an alright couple of days. Obviously I was being paid to be there by my company, but so I was forced. But
make it a bit easier.
Yeah, it does make it a little bit easier. I had some decent food. Those donuts.
Oh my god,
they were good.
So good.
They were so good. So what did I add? I had like millionaire shortbread or whatever. I think donut.
My favourite was the white chocolate raspberry one.
You had a white chocolate raspberry one.
Same. So good.
They were so good. If anybody from Donut is listening,
we are taking sponsorship.
Incredible. Yeah, I will. And we kind of went there because it was kind of the only thing that didn't have protein in it.
Yeah.
It was just like you just got regular massive donuts. Amazing. And it was like full the whole day. It was great. I had some heck stuff, which it was only because two of my friends were in the queue, so I didn't have to queue. What else did I have? I had a pretty decent hot dog. Apart from that,
just list all the food, mate. It's fine.
Yeah, it's great. A lot of red wine on the Friday night before the talk. So yeah, it was nice. All right, mate. That kind of ends that. It was decent. It was a decent event. Highly recommend people next year. If me and Dan are still there, then if we're still friends, we'll be there, won't we, Dan?
Yeah, if we're still friends. I mean, saying that, mate, I don't know if we are or we aren't. We're probably going to talk the same either way. So talk the same man.
Yeah. Right. What was your next day?
So the next day was I was at the Revive Stronger seminar. So Steve Hall and Pascal invited myself and Mike down for the day, which was great. And as I said, Harry was filming it. But yeah, it was really good. Like we had a chat from she's called, I only know Instagram handles nowadays, at Vitamin PhD. I think she was called Gabriella she was called, but I don't know her full name.
People should have basically just have that on their t-shirts.
Exactly. Yeah. If you have name tags, just put your Instagram handle on. It's loads easier. And possibly your profile picture as well. That makes it easier.
So you know exactly who you are. Yeah, that's right.
So she talked about gut health, and it was really interesting. Just a really nice talk to reconfirm everything that I thought. Because sometimes I think with gut health, you can doubt yourself a little bit because you hear so much shit and there's not huge amounts of evidence around it. And she went over all the evidence. She went over everything that needs to be known about gut health, and basically it comes down to exercise improves gut health, eating a variety of fruit and veg and carbohydrates up to 30 different sources a week contributes well to gut health, de-stressing, sleeping, all this sort of stuff.
30 different sources?
30 different types, yeah. If you can, is optimal. Like obviously it's hard to do, but
it's hard to count that far as well.
Yeah, well, it's one of those where if you had 5 different portions of fruit and veg,
and we don't care about like what type of carb, obviously.
Well, no, because obviously the fibrous, right? Fibrous carbohydrates.
I can't just be like, I can have 30 different cereals.
Or 30 different types of Haribo.
Yeah. Doesn't work sugar, like that. You can't go Haribo gummy bear, then Haribo heart, Haribo ring.
Yeah, let's get the picture out again. Best worst. So that was really good because she was basically saying, look, no supplement's really going to help you at all whatsoever. The only thing that sometimes is used to help with gut health is glutamine, and she said that will only be helpful after an episode of having bloating or having bad digestion. That will help afterwards, but other than that, it doesn't really help in the long term. Like, there's no point taking it every day and all that sort of thing. So it was really interesting because, again, a lot of people talk a lot of shit about it, and it's actually really still in its infancy in terms of research.
I think, yeah, especially for us as like trainers that, well, seem to have some sort of morality, I guess.
Rare these days.
It's very rare that you won't often catch me and Dan talking about it because we don't know that much about it. And we don't want to put the misinformation out there. So just in case we are wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's good. It was very, very good. So that was nice because it made me feel better about what I would say about gut health.
Good.
Knowing that an expert says the same thing, which is always nice. And then Michael Chatel was talking about like MRV and MEV and MCT and one thing I will say is like you know he's a very, very knowledgeable guy.
He's very, very knowledgeable.
If you don't know the acronyms, you're sat there like, what the fuck does that mean? Like on the board on the slides, I was like, what's that one again? SCT? I don't know. Rated for. There was one that was like not even rated for development, but it's had the same acronym. I was like, what's that mean? What's that mean?
It's definitely not that. It's definitely not rated for development in bodybuilding.
Yeah, it's just like so. It's one of those things, right? It was good, and like the premise. The premise of it was, you can do too much volume. Like ridiculous amounts of volume don't help you. And
if anyone of my clients, you know who you are. You can do too much volume. Means chill out.
It's detrimental. It is it can be detrimental. And then also that the minimum amount is probably not as high as you think it is, as well. And actually, the middle ground is probably a pretty good place to be. So it was a really, really good day. Like it didn't really get time to see much of Stephen Pascal. They were in high demand, and everyone wanted to chat to him. So yeah, I didn't manage to hang around, but it was a good day with Mike, and then we went up to Manchester for our OFB talk with Suk Sidhu, which was amazing. It was great to be asked. Like really was amazing. We still can't believe he asked us. Still don't get it, but. No, it was really nice to hear what you said about us as well, which is good. But we basically talked about being yourself in the industry, what we've kind of noticed over the last 10 months with what we do, and we talked a little bit and delved into a bit of YouTube because I think that's an area that not many people have thought about as a social media platform or as a place to grow your presence and stuff like that. So we kind of talked about why we chose YouTube and what we look out for, and hopefully helped people think about that. And then also just about social media content in general, like mistakes we've made, what we've learned, where we're at with our business, how we do our business, so that people can see that really we don't do a huge amount different than what most people probably do anyway. And it is a case of being consistent. And it was great to, like Suk said at the end, he said that even he learned something, and it was very, very good. So that's yeah, it was good. Really enjoyed it. And I forget how much I enjoy speaking, and I forget how much I enjoy talking about this sort of stuff. And I think I say things. I said again so many times, I think. But other than that, it was all good. And then we had sort of lunch with Suk, and we sat down, and I think we're going to go up and see him and sort out a YouTube video with him, which will be quite funny. Do like a 6-figure mentor piss take video
Cool.
with him, and then and yeah, hopefully he's going to give us bits and bobs of advice of maybe what we can do in the future with stuff. But we do, like I said, I love the speaking gigs. I think it's great, and it's obviously we're doing a podcast. You kind of feel that you're used to having to.
That was interesting, yeah, because like straight after our talk, like about 4 or 5 people said they were like, well, considering the other people that were on the panel with me, they were just all like, you seem to know how to speak a lot easier than everybody else and a lot louder. To get your point across. And I was like, I kind of hope so. I was like, I've done 170 hours of podcasting, so I think I know how to speak every now and again. But
yeah, I think it's just as well, like like when we did the chat, me and Mike were just obviously a bit of banter and back and forth and stuff. And I think because I said to people, I was like, you've sinned today at this talk. I was like, we're just the same as we are on camera. Like, there's no filter. It's not like we're pretending or acting up. And I think that's half the thing sometimes is people. Like on the podcast, like people don't, but I say to them all the time, people sometimes still don't believe me that we just rock up with no plan and just chat shit.
Mate, like, really? No, I've written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, but you have like maybe a point or something, 10, but
11 words.
But it is. The thing is like people think that maybe like that bits are edited out, or that there's ums or ahs that are edited out, and it's like no, Tom's too lazy.
I'm far too lazy to do that. I smash record. It's only if I mess up the start. Like if we mess up the start, then we might go back and do that.
Yeah, but that's it.
It's interesting because obviously, like I speak in front of people a fair bit, and Dan, you've seen me present, and I move around a lot, right?
Yeah, I bet you were struggling on that stage, weren't you?
Mate, it's unreal. So when I speak, if I'm speaking, talking a seminar and whatever, I wander around the room. That's my thing. But 100%, it's some sort of physical anxiety. It has to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't come through my voice. It doesn't come through my facial expressions. It doesn't come through any like my persona. But I have to move around just to keep moving and kind of people's like contact and meet their gaze. Meet their gaze.
What?
They're gays.
They're gays. Okay, cool. Z. There was the Z in there.
Yeah, gays. Yeah. Just not just a bunch of them. No. You've totally sidetracked me. But yeah, apparently when I was sitting on there and I've redone, at least about 5 people messaged me, was like, your foot is going crazy. I was like, because I sat with my legs crossed, like just like leg up, and then my foot was just going nuts, apparently, just like wobbling up and down. And I was like, there's my trait, my anxiety trait, is coming through my foot, clearly. And normally I'd be able to kind of control that. Not bad anxiety thing to have. I could have just put my foot down, but then I normally walk around. But it was just interesting that I was just like, I did ask Josh. I was like, I know we're on a panel, and I've seen panels before. You generally have to sit down. I was like, can I stand up? Just as like, I don't like
you walking
just
around.
Me. Like, just looks a little bit. Yeah, I was like, I really want to walk around. But do you have any? I don't know. I've seen you present as well, but you're more static than I am. I'm running laps.
My hands go.
Your hands are quite Ooh.
My hands are always moving, but at this one I was moving around a little bit. I just feel that I don't look at anyone when I talk. I always look gazing like gaze. Let me say that word again.
There we go.
I'm looking into the audience, and I feel like sometimes that I don't really look at anyone, and I feel that if they notice that, but I don't know. I don't do it frequently enough to think about, I suppose, what I do. You do it obviously all the time.
Not look at people.
No, like I mean, so
I eyeball them. I'm like,
if I had a choice, I would 100% be stood up. I don't want to be stood up. I would hate it. I would want to be stood up. And I think my problem used to be, it's less so now, is that I used to just ramble and I used to just talk about all the connotations. And now I'm a bit more confident in what I'm going to say, that I don't need to provide every single context possible. I just go, this is it. And then they go, what about that? And I go, you can ask me.
Do I need to talk about that? Okay, cool. But it's interesting with the public speaking as well. Like, it is, I 100% think it's something people can get better at by just doing. And I guess it's getting the first confidence to do it at the start. Like, even I guess with your YouTube stuff as well, putting in front of a camera. But it's the kind of stuff. But
I think with the one we did at OFB, the reason that we really enjoyed that, or I really enjoyed it, I think, is that you couldn't really get called out on it, because it was like, well, this is what we've done. We're just going over what we've done. There's no like references. There's no like, I suppose, right or wrong answer. This could all be wrong, but for us, it's worked, and that's all we're telling you.
All right, so this is where I'm gonna either leave down or not. Did you mention the podcast in your thing?
I did.
Oh, wow.
About the podcast. It's funny. Someone said, "Would you start a podcast now?" They were like, "Oh, I'm thinking. What do you think about podcasting as a way? Have you thought about doing one with you and Mike?" And we were like, like probably not. Like, if I was to start one now, I probably wouldn't do one starting right now. But then we talked about it again. We talked about the demographic of who listens to podcasts, and we were like, well, people in fitness listen to them. If you're trying to get more clients, you're going to do a podcast. I wouldn't bother. Because they choose Radio 1, Radio 2, whatever, Spotify, over listening to podcasts. Fitness people listen to podcasts because they want to learn more, and they like, I want to go out taking loads more information, or they want it.
Or the people that we spoke to over the weekend were like, your show's good because it's not serious.
Exactly.
You don't have to get information from your show.
Exactly. It is just us chatting shit, literally. We say it all the time. Whereas the guy was asking me, he was saying, would you and Mike do one? And we were like, well, no, because only people in fitness can listen to it, and they're not going to be our clients or whatever. And if they are, they'll watch YouTube, or they'll watch our posts and stuff. So I think it was one of those things where, again, we knew. Like I said again, keep saying again all the time. Fuck's sake, shut up, Dan. It's about understanding the demographic of who you're trying to work with, and people are so obsessed with trying to do everything, and it's why when we spoke about it with the guys there, we just said we've only focused on Instagram and YouTube and then emails. They're the only 3 things that we put content on. Obviously, I have the podcast with you. But in terms of when I look at where my clients come from, not many of them come from the podcast. They don't say, I found you on the podcast, or that's where I exclusively listen to you. It's the culmination of everything.
Yeah.
And people seem so caught up with trying to post on everything all the time. And we were saying that we've only just done Instagram, YouTube, and emails, and that's where we get most of our interaction, and we get most of our business from, because we don't post on the others. Yeah, we probably could use Facebook, but our demographic seems to be going well on Instagram and YouTube, so stick to it. And So same with the podcast. I think everyone's trying to do this sort of stuff. And I said to the guy, I was like, the reason we started a podcast was because it was a way for me and you to catch up every week. That's how I started. It wasn't ever meant to be something that was going to be like big or was to get clients or anything like that. It was just so that we'd be able to catch up every week. I'm regretting that now. But, at the time, it's not a good idea. And now we just literally turn up and we chat shit, and people enjoy it and they like to hear our opinions on things, which is great and really appreciate it. But if I was in business now and I was starting up right now in doing online fitness, I wouldn't go, I've got to do a podcast. It's not what I do.
No.
But the reason for why we did it was never that anyway. It was an idea, maybe getting guests on and stuff like that, but it wasn't ever...
it was more like, from my perspective as well, because obviously I don't live in the online...
No, you said it was just to keep in touch with me every week. That's what you said.
That was number one. And,
of course, yeah. Yeah, I say that now.
And I don't live on the online fitness business as much as Dan does. And it was a decent way for me to just have a little poke around and see who people are as well. Because obviously, like all of the people previously, I would have named if Dan had been like in the first 2 years of me and him knowing each other. You'd have been like, so who are the people you follow? It'd be like researchers and really boring fuckers like that, and I wouldn't know anybody. So, which has been good. It's just been a decent way to meet people as well. It sounds like we're dating, Dan. So basically are. It's fine.
Not literally, though.
Not literally. No. All right. I kind of take away from everything this weekend, but what we really want to go into is stupid things on the internet, because Dan's not getting the 200k club.
Oh yeah, this where's that dickhead gone? Let me find my post I put on Instagram. So I put up a picture of me on Instagram from a photo shoot, and yeah, we all know.
Fit.
Yeah, we all know I'm not the biggest guy in the world anyway. But I've blocked him now, so I can't even go on my Instagram. I've got to go on my screenshots that I saved. But it was a post where I basically said that you don't have to eat. It was the post I talked about. You don't have to eat bland food. You don't have to do fasted cardio. You don't have to, ostracize yourself from your friends. You don't have to stop going to social events. You don't have to be a recluse to get in shape. And this fucking dickhead, absolute dickhead. This is the comment. This is a week after I posted it, by the way. She's gone back and
yeah. I thought that it's super weird when people go back in time on your posts.
And he put in quotation marks, "In shape" is a very relative term. It's true that to achieve most people's goals, there's no need for the bland food, early mornings, etc. But you don't mention who you're quoting here or what their goals are. You talk as though you're in amazing shape, so know what that takes. And frankly, you're just really, really not. I was like, okay. I was like, a couple of things. I was like, firstly, you've said that I'm right. Anyway, first thing is you said I'm right because you said for most people, they don't need to do that. And that's exactly who I work with, mate, is most people, not fucking bodybuilders. Okay? Second thing, I don't need to mention who they are and what their goals are, because if I know my demographic, I'm targeting them anyway with my posts, and they're going to resonate with them. If they don't like it, they'll just unfollow me or not comment. And then you have a go at me saying that I'm really, really not in shape. And this guy as well, like, it's not even like he's fucking Olympia champ or anything. Do you know? It's not like...
That's even by the by. It's just a ridiculous.
Yeah, no, ridiculous. So anyway, I just commented back and I was like, look, mate, I said, to achieve most people's goals, there's no need for bland food, in quotation marks, which is what he said. And I put, most people is exactly who I'm trying to reach, big boy. Sorry that my physique doesn't match up to your truly amazing standards. It's a good job I have the intelligence to measure my self-worth on more than just the size of my muscles. To which he then replied, here we go. I was like, here we go, roll my sleeves up. He put, the obvious intended implication being that I don't have the intelligence to measure my self-worth in a sensible way, question mark. And he kind of put, all I'll say on the one is it's a good job muscle isn't how you measure yourself. Okay.
Cool.
I just think that whilst it's most people you're trying to reach, the professionals themselves should be held to a higher standard. I.e., in order to help most normal people, we ourselves should be better than they aspire to be. I put, this is before I blocked him. The fact you measure standards of a professional by muscularity of a physique highlights your lack of intelligence without me needing to imply anything. And then I blocked him. And then I went on Instagram and just absolutely fucking took the piss out of him on my stories, because he deserves it, because he was a horrible little cunt. And I didn't get personal about his physique or anything like that, because there's no need. He isn't even that impressed with himself. I just merely highlight the fact that he's a dick, and if he measures other people's level of standards or intelligence by their muscularity or whatever it is, then he's in for an absolute shock.
He's in for a shock.
and I used that as content for my email well, this will be on Wednesday, so yesterday, so I can talk about it. Where basically I was like, I'd like to think that my clients aspire to be far more than just muscles. I want my clients to aspire to have a good relationship with food, to aspire to socialize with their friends and feel in control of their diet. I want them to aspire to not stress about their training and their nutrition, and I aspire them to be a decent human fucking being, not whatever you are, you little cunt. Anyway, so that really bothered me, because not because he had a go at me. I couldn't give a shit. I get abuse from you and Mike all day, every day about it. It's not an issue. My issue is that he could have said that. He probably does say that sort of stuff to other people, and they would take it badly. Yeah. And he's the kind of person that has no place in our industry, who judges people by how they look, on their muscles, on their muscle size, or how lean they are. It's ridiculous. He doesn't ask me about that I got 2 degrees, that I do extracurricular qualifications. He doesn't know any of that sort of shit. He doesn't know that like I said, my clients aspire to be maybe in the sort of shape I'm in. He has no idea about that. He just made an assumption based on a picture of my physique in a photo shoot, and he's launched into, you don't look good or whatever. And I had loads of nice comments from people on my story, and they replied and just like, I bet he's insecure and all this sort of stuff. And one of them, and I think I put something like, "Oh, he just wants his ego stroked by people." And someone replied that that's probably the only thing he gets stroked, based on how much of a fucking prick he is. And I'm quite proud of this line in my email, because I thought it was funny. I left it in. Some people might get offended by it.
Shock.
I'm not too bothered, but I left it in because I thought it was funny. Let me try, I want to read it out word for word so I make sure. Right. But basically I said, I bet his mum is so proud of him. And then in brackets I put, a woman whose talents include being able to push pieces of shit out of her vagina as well as her ass. I thought that's quite good. That's quite good. But yeah, I just was like, it's just horrible. That's a horrible person. Like, it's just a horrible person. You don't need to be around someone like that. But they exist on the internet, unfortunately.
They do.
They come out more on the internet because they're behind a keyboard. They probably wouldn't say that sort of shit to people in real life. But so yeah, I'm not horrible about people unless they're horrible to me and show that they are in fact a horrible person. They deserve it, which he did.
He clearly did. I think.
And he's clearly not very intelligent as well. That's why I was kind of like, actually, you're just a horrible, horrible person. You're not even trying to argue with me about like a principle, and you have your side of the story. You are just a twat.
Yeah, unintelligence doesn't mean you're not a nice person.
Mm.
You can just be a bit of a prick. So, yeah, interesting. Stupid things in the internet was that, Dan. So, with that, mate, I think we'll call it a show.
Call it the show, there, mate.
Call it a show. Any other biz?
No biz, mate. No biz. Only no, because I'm not. It'll be cricket. It's tomorrow. I'm going to watch cricket tomorrow, but then it would be.
But yeah.
Well, no, I was going to say that I'm going cricket, but then I was like, but it doesn't matter to anyone because it's Wednesday when they hear it. So fuck it. Getting all that bit. Scrap that.
Well,
in fact, edit that bit out. Edit that bit out, mate.
Done. It's definitely coming out.
Yeah, it's definitely.
But we will endeavour to see if a show comes out next week, because I'm on holiday. So we'll see what happens. I'm still unsure whether Dan can work podcasts. So who knows what will happen? We might have to pre-record something.
We'll do that, shall we, Tom?
We have no idea. Or we have just a week off. You can suffer the consequences. But we did that last time. I feel like we had a week off somewhere during the year, and it kind of bit us in the arse on the way back, because we try and aim for 50 shows a year. Because just from my brain, it looks quite nice.
Yeah, your OCD takes over, doesn't
it? Yeah. Yeah. We'll see what's happening. But I'll be tanned, I hope, at some point, or just bright red. I think that's what happened last time. I did a show with you on the back end of coming back from holiday, and I was just a lobster. And you could not stop laughing the whole time. So yeah, I'm sure that's gonna happen.
Let's do that again.
Good.
Sounds good.
Do that again. Yeah, all right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next week.
See you later.